It's Quant Trade Edge, and I was just posting a brief update on the soybean trade. So if you remember from yesterday's video, we had this perfect looking cup and handle with a symmetrical triangle handle on the 15-minute soybean chart. And you can refer back to yesterday's video to go into all the reasons why we liked soybeans from the daily chart. And we got this breakout yesterday, and the pit closed up here, and it went even higher overnight. And peaked out here at about 1 o'clock, and everything looked normal. It looked like, this is great, this is a breakout, it's working. And then we started to come off from 1 o'clock, and I'll do this slowly. As we came back into this range, the thought is, no big deal. We're just testing the top of that range, and I mentioned putting our stop below this pattern here, and I'd put it at 54, just to give it a little bit of room under the pattern. And also, I think it was this 54? This is 53.4. So probably it's something like this is what I was looking at, just to say, okay, a little bit of breathing room under the pattern, and we kind of got this huge crap out, and this huge crap out ticked to one tick below that 54 stop. So what actually happened is, as we came down here, I started thinking to myself, this looks like a trap. And again, you have to be careful. You don't want to rationalize something. But I went ahead and moved my stop all the way down to here. And then I thought to myself, because this is such a perfect looking technical pattern, it would be easy for the manipulator, whoever you think that is in the market, to come and stop out this pattern and then let it run. So that's why I moved my stop out. And after this initial low at 53.6, I was very impressed with how they knew exactly where my stop was, and I just realized that I'm just your typical technical trader, so that's obviously where everyone probably had a stop, and they knew that. But then I watched for a 1 minute U-turn, and this is that low, and we had this up move, this down move, this up move, and when we took out this bar, I added, it's kind of going against my risk parameters here, avoiding a stop and then adding to it on this break. So that was close to 58. And then I did put in firm stops below here. I believe 53, I gave it a few ticks below. But then I put in firm stops and I walked away because I am now at larger size than I am allowed to trade, than I would allow myself to trade. And the rest is history. We put this back on a 15-minute chart, and this thing was exactly a trap for that pattern, and that gave me more confidence, and that's why I wanted the more size, is that everything was already perfect, and then if you go down, stop out and trap it out and go, it's ready to roar. And that's exactly what happened. We roared, and I think 84 was a level significant on the daily chart, so I took off those extras. I'm back to just having my actual full position, and must have been on the 120-minute chart. This little area here, 83.4, and this is probably 84.2. So that little area was just a little something to get rid of the extras that extra exposure that I didn't want. So this trade is alive and well, and I think it's even better now than it was before, because we did go down and trap below this pattern and have this amazing impulse. And as you know, going into a close on Friday, if a market does something, you don't want to be against it. Like if for example, if we had just stayed down here, I would have gotten out of this position, because then really this was just an ugly down day, and we're closing a Friday near the lows. I would have just gotten out and called it a stop out. But because we had this nice big rally back, it's kind of the opposite. We're most likely going to have a gap and or just more strength on Monday. So on the daily chart, this is still, this is looking even better than it was before. this 1192 is the first little thing up here, but basically the gauntlet's been thrown down. This is a strong move now. We had the daily U-turn already here, and this little tail on the daily chart was all of that action on the 15-minute chart, gut checking this daily U-turn, and I think it's up and away from here. Being a Friday, we should have new COT data out soon, and that data, the first thing we want to do is see how well that is, what's happening to the position. Last week was the shortest that speculators have been in 3 years. Let's see if they've already started covering, if they're adding into it. Let's see if we can start assessing how much fuel is left in that trade. But I do expect it to take a couple of weeks. So I don't think I'd really be letting much go below this 1260, which is still another 80 points away. But let's see how the data unfolds. Let's see how the market action unfolds, and we'll go from there. Well, thank you.